October 14, the date chosen by the anti-government protesters for a major rally, has a strong political symbolism. It marks the 47th anniversary of Thailand's first popular uprising that led to the ouster of the authoritarian government of Prime Minister Thanom Kittikachorn and brought in a new dawn of democracy. Field Marshal Thanom and his military clique was wielding absolute power after staging a coup against its own government in 1971. But widespread corruption and nepotism led to growing public discontent. The crash of an army helicopter used by a hunting party and carrying wildlife carcasses further fueled public anger. In 1973, student activists launched a series of demonstrations to demand a new constitution. The protests quickly gained popular support. It was estimated that, at their peak, the number of people taking part in the protests swelled up to hundreds of thousands, something unprecedented at the time. The Thanom government responded with brute force that led to a bloody confrontation with pro-democracy protesters on October 14 on Ratchadamnern Avenue. Hundreds of desperate student protesters being hunted down by security forces sought refuge inside the Jitrada Palace, where His Majesty King Bhumibol and members of the royal family came out to comfort them. The same night, His Majesty King Bhumibol called for calm in a television address and described October 14 as a day of great tragedy. His appearance immediately brought an end to the violence on the streets. The next day, Prime Minister Thanom, his son Narong Kittikachorn, and Deputy Prime Minister Prapat Charusathian, who were known as the Three Tyrants, resigned and fled the country. His Majesty King Bhumibol appointed Privy Councillor Professor Sanya Thammasak as the new Prime Minister. According to official reports, as many as 77 people died and 857 were injured in the bloody uprising. All casualties were civilians. The uprising ushered in a new era of democracy, but it also plunged Thailand into one of its most turbulent political periods that culminated in the brutal suppression of the student movement and a military coup d'etat 3 years later.